lines of eulogies and big introductions like that. I think it's better to be pragmatized. So hopefully I'm able to justify all of those well cultured introduction by this presentation this evening. All right, I'd like to begin in the name of God, the merciful, the one who has gathered us here today in peace. And I pray that whatever we learn this evening is beneficial to the one who is saying it, is beneficial to the people who are fortunate to be listening under the sound of our voice. And I pray that we learn from each other as we strive to exchange this knowledge and values. And I pray that we are able to also pass it forward to the people that cross our lines subsequently. Without further ado, I'll try to share my screen so we can go into this presentation formally. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, can you guys see this?
Yes, please.
Yes, you can see your screen.
Thank you. Second. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm sorry, I'm trying to bring this. Not here. Sorry, give me 1 second. To manage the footprint. So the topic before me today is building self-confidence and positive thinking. Those are very paramount areas of our daily activities as you navigate your primary or secondary discourse, in your school, in your community, your place of work, your volunteer organizations, and all of this, right? So it is imperative for you to have the confidence. You can't give what you don't have, right? And each one of us always encounter that challenge. It's a challenge a bit. People have ideas, they don't know how to say it out. People have things to say, they don't know how to say it. So how do we break these barriers? How do we navigate this obstacle to give the best that you have, to exchange the ideas that lies within you, right? So all these two topics goes hand in hand, and you're gonna see very quickly how they intertwined, in fact. Confidence and optimism. I say optimism because it comes from positive thinking. It comes from a positive mindset, right? Um, so this is an overview of what we're going to be talking about today. So I'll introduce self-confidence to us in probably a different lens. I'm sure you guys have probably listened to um, a presentation of self-confidence before, and why this is important, in fact, right? And these are the things I'm trying to achieve today. The first is how emotions affect our self-esteem as an individual or as an organization. And how do you stop thinking negatively? How do you stop beating yourself down, right? Then afterward, we're going to practice some gratitude and optimism workshop very quickly. So how emotions affect self-esteem. I like one volunteer to give an insight of what he or she understands to be self-esteem. There's no right or wrong answer, by the way. People are shy. These people have no self-esteem. They have no self-confidence. Your self-esteem is very low. It's negative 0.1. So there is no volunteer.
All right. Assalamu alaikum wabarakatuh.
Salam to
Okay, so when I don't know the meaning of self-esteem, but I just know how people use it in context. So it's like the way we see ourselves. The position we place ourselves in terms of respect and in interaction with others. So that's what I can basically say about it.
Yeah, that's a very good one. That qualifies it all. It's how you carry yourself, how you're able to use your intuition, your inner tensions and disputes. How are you able to portray that to the outside for people to receive what you are trying to give to them of value and of knowledge, right? So you're able to give out what you have inside of you. So that's self-esteem. So the motion to which you're able to do that tells people if you have a low self-esteem or you have a high self-esteem. And that complements confidence. It is confidence that will allow you to do that. And we're going to talk about that in practical very quickly. So I like to say positive emotions foster resilience and confidence. When you have a sense of emotion that is positive, and this goes hand in hand with mental, practical, and spiritual. I'm going to dive into that very quickly. All of these three things give you an emotion that is contagious. And I use the word contagious because I preluded that you can't give what you don't have. So when you have an emotion, you will a smile on your face, for example. You are someone who is very agile. This is contagious. This comes from an inner emotion that you can give out with your self-esteem, and people could see it in you. Sometimes you try to hide it, but people could tell if you're happy or you are not, right? And self-awareness is the first step to emotional regulation. You have to be true to yourself. You need to understand what is your state. Some people act, they fake to be confident. They fake to be emotionally strong, but deep down they know they are not, but they try to hide it, right? So it is important for you to be true to yourself so that you can fix it. And even there are billionaires, there are people that we know. I know of a four-star general who is still struggling with this. So it's not like I'm too old, I'm too big to break the barrier of confidence or self-esteem, right? And these are some of the signs. You're always doubting yourself. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. Even though you can do it better than the next person. I've been in these shoes, right? I know what it feels like to have this low self-esteem is because you haven't established a platform for yourself to actually pragmatize the things that you can truly do, right? So you're doubting yourself. You can do it better than the other person, but you just don't believe in yourself. You don't have that strong instinct to carry forward, right? And there's also a fear of failure. It's not because you are afraid to fail, but you're afraid of the failure itself, right? You're always criticizing. You haven't failed yet, but you're already telling yourself, what if I failed? People are going to say this, people are going to say that, right? So you're always beating yourself down. These are signs of what? Low self-esteem. And you're also always avoiding challenges. You're always avoiding things that are hard. You don't want to, do things that you would fail, things that would challenge you beyond uh your hemisphere, things that you are accustomed to. You don't want to go beyond your circle, right? You are always apologizing. You apologize too much. Every single thing you're always saying, I'm sorry. Even when the other person is the one who is at fault, you're still apologizing. All of these are what? Low self-esteem signs. Now, if you have identified this and you have to stop negative self-talk, how to beat yourself down, because sometimes when you lose your confidence, it is because you have talked yourself down, even without people commenting. Now, when people had a compliment, it had a tone to you being beat down, right? And what is negative self-talk? For example, I'm not good enough. Well, I can't do this. I'm a failure. I just can't do this. These are things that you say to yourself that are negative self-talk, right? And your past experience also contribute to this. And there is an adage that I'm used to that you have to live your life forward, understand the past, and you live forward. Because if you don't live forward, you'll be buried under your past experience and you're not going to grow as such. So you want to understand what has surfaced in your life in the past. You pick the lesson so it doesn't repeat itself, and you are able to live forward. You live freely. You don't imprison yourself because experiences makes up history. Stories and experiences becomes history, and you have to learn from there. You don't have to live in the past. Some people live in the past till they die. They are never in the moment. So all of these are things you have to stay away from so you can fulfill your purpose in life. You can mix with new people. You can unlearn things that are weighing you down and relearn things that will be progressive in your life, right? And you have to be aware of this. These are, one of the techniques that you can use to stop it. You have to, unhelpful beliefs, you have to stay away from that. Don't let people tell you things that you don't believe in. You have to be someone of value. And that's why I said being spiritual, being mentally fit, and physically strong, all these three things contribute to how you carry yourself. If you're a man, try to do so, go to the gym if you can, run if you can, do some push-ups. If you're a woman, you can do your in-house workout, you can read books. If you're a Muslim, you read the Quran, you give charity, and I'm going to get to a point of gratitude. These are things that will make you being conscious, because if your mind is not being filled with something that is progressive, you have an infusion of negativity, right? And you have to replace your you replace your negative thoughts with positive affirmations. And I'm going to give some example of that. Instead of saying I can't do this, just say I will try to improve, or I will do it better, right? When someone say, "Oh, are you able to do this?" Because it is Les Brown who says it is better to be prepared for an opportunity and you don't have one than to have an opportunity and you are not prepared. So when you're already mentally fit, you're already mentally prepared, you are spiritually upgraded, when things comes your way and people ask you if you can do it, you won't tell them no. Even when you have all it takes to do it, you have all the skills, you have all the knowledge to be able to do it. But because you don't believe in yourself, you tell them, oh no, I just can't do it. But instead of this, you tell them, even if you don't believe because it was a sudden opportunity, you are still optimistic, but you tell them, you know what, I will try to do it better and I will improve on what you have asked of me. Also, you can change I failed again to, failure is how I learn, that is how I grow. And there's a definition for fail, in fact. Does anyone knows?
I think
There's yeah, go
failure is
ahead.
not failure is not when you fail, but not learning from that thing that caused you to fail.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Okay, because can you ask this question again?
There is a definition for fail, like the acronym itself.
Oh no, I don't. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
So it's called first attempt in learning. First attempt in learning, right? Because if you don't fail, you can't move forward. I give you a practical example. When I was in airborne school, airborne school is like people that jump out of plane. It's called a paratrooper school in the military, right? I failed like two, three times, I would say, because you have to go through a tower before you go through the main course itself, before you go to the plane. And they were going to send me back home because I have failed. I didn't pass the first initial courses. And I told them, it's rather you keep me here for 100 years because I'm not going to quit, but I'm not going to. It's either you keep me here or you let me do it again. So they have to take me to the first sergeant. The one is the one who is going to make the decision if I stay or if I go home. I have been someone after I graduated basic training, my mindset has changed. And that's why I said you have to put yourself in situations that would challenge you and not be afraid to make decisions. And from that point, there is nothing that I wouldn't do to achieve whatever I set for myself. So I went ahead to talk to the first sergeant. I told him that I'm not going home. I didn't sign up to fail. So it's either you send me back up to go try again, or you just keep me here as long as you want. Right. So you understood where I'm coming from. I didn't talk myself down. I wasn't submissive to failure. If it's someone else, maybe they would have said they want to go. And I'm not saying this to praise myself. It's just because I understood, because I've failed so much in the past. When I was in basic training before that time, I have failed and I tried again. I was able to make it, right? So I told him, you have to send me back up there. And I tried again and I was able to make it. He passed the course and I was qualified as a paratrooper, right? Those are things that you can talk to people about in a pragmatic sense. You don't just tell people, oh, go and do it, it's going to be fine. But you haven't done it yourself, right? So when you are in a position that you can give what you have, and you have that thing by experiencing it. That's why I've said experiences becomes history and that complement your story, right? So if you, instead of saying I'm not good at anything, you can say, well, I'm still growing, I'm still in my midst of becoming, I'm still becoming, right? So these are practical gratitude and optimism that you can practice. Um, and there is a research, in fact, that says 20% of people who are grateful, they are much more happier. 20% of people that are grateful, they are much happier because instead of focusing on the negative thoughts of the negative circumstances you find yourself, you're optimistic. You are grateful for the things you have. The things that you have today is what someone else is praying for. So instead of thinking of the things you don't have yet, you are thankful of the things you already have. That gives you a sense of happiness from the inside, right? And people will feel that they can contain it from you because you can't hide it. When you are happy, you can't hide it. The same way when you are sad, you are unhappy, you can't hide it as well, right? And if you are, there's this quote from John Mason, if you are people of the book, um, in the book of Proverbs, it says, your soul is nourished when you are kind, and your soul is destroyed when you are cruel, right? So when you give, you earn more satisfaction. When you are grateful, you earn more inner peace than when you complain and you just lament all the time. There is nothing that is positive in your life. You're always complaining. But instead of that, you are much grateful. You're thankful for family. You're thankful for food on your table. You're thankful for good health. So all of this sense of gratitude increase your self-esteem. It builds your self-confidence. You are not just walking down, hiding yourself, walking around sad, right? So these are things that you can do that would help you be more positive. Also, optimism builds long-term emotional resilience. You're able to control your emotions. You become much confident from the inside. Your strength improves. You walk with your head high. You don't walk around and people asking you what's going on with you, right? And I like to do something that is called a daily gratitude list. I have a book that says, what are you grateful for today? And you write those down. You're able to look into it every day. You go back to it. If there are things that you think you haven't achieved yet, you put it on a red mark and you put it beside the green one that was you're already grateful for, right? And these are habits that you can practice for both optimism and self-confidence. And also, you need to understand each new day that dawns, it brings its own fortune. So whatever you are able to achieve every single day, you note down your daily wins. For example, speaking here today is a win for me because I'm sharing what I think I've known or what I've experienced. You listening today, you're gaining knowledge is a win for you. You are not losing, right? You're spending your time on something that is progressive. It's a win for you. So you note down your wins every single day. And by the time you're doing that, there's 20 or 29 or 30 days a month. At least you have one thing to be grateful for every day. So think about yourself in a month. You have 30 things to be grateful for. Of course, you'll be happy. Of course, you'll be much confident because you are not lamenting. Even though you are expectant of things to come your way, you already have a compound of things that you're already grateful for, right? So these are habits that you can inculcate in your life. So I have two activities. In fact, this is the first one. Like I said, it's gratitude journaling. You can have just a small notebook. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. So you just name it your book of gratitude or gratitude journaling. And if you can do that right now, and in fact, I want each of you to write down 3 to 5 things that you are grateful for every day, every week. It could be your family, it could be your spouse if you're married, it could be your kids, it could be your faith, it could be whatever you can think of as a win for you. And I want you to take 1 to 2 minutes to reflect on each of it and how these things make you feel, right? And I'll give you an example. Like I said, one for me is this coming here today. And for me, every single day, I'm able to think of things that God has helped me to achieve, at a young age today. I'm thankful for all of those things. And when I take time to think about them, it makes me feel happy. It makes me feel grateful, in fact, right? So you take time to think of these things, and that's why we lose track. We just live our life in a fast pace. We don't take the time to think of things that we have already achieved, right? So take the time, think of 3 to 5 things that makes you happy, things that you can think of that you've achieved, that make you happy every single day or bi-weekly? And I'm going to pause for a little bit.
Yes, sir. I'm done.
Yes, we are done.
Okay, can we have two volunteers to share what they have?
Okay. Bismillah. I'm Rahan. I'm grateful for my father because through my father I was able to choose Islam because my mom is a Christian. So I'm also grateful for Allah's guidance because I'm a girl, I'm a female, and there are lots of challenges out there for females. But alhamdulillah, my father guided me very well. I am grateful for my emotional intelligence type, openness person. I'm cheerful, I'm happy. Even when things are not going well, I'm always able to bounce back because of my happy spirit. And I'm grateful to Almighty Allah for all His blessings on me, my family, my princess, my husband, the home I'm living, my beautiful garden. Alhamdulillah, I'm grateful for that. I think it's 5 now. And I'm grateful for the large kitchen I have because I used to manage it for, but now, Alhamdulillah, I'm grateful for that and every other thing else.
Thank you for sharing that. Those are actually a pool of blessings that you have. And I pray that it stays with you for long as much as they keep you happy. Yeah, I think from your expression, we can tell that not just do those things make you happy, but you yourself, you're an happy person. So those are things you want to keep to yourself. You don't let people hijack it from you. There are people who are called dream killers, and they try to take away your emotions because they don't have it, right? They are not happy. They're trying to take away your happiness. So you keep that to yourself and take it as it's a blessing, and it's something that you can share if people want it, and you don't have to let people take it away from you. So thanks for sharing. Anyone else? I guess people are carried away. Would anyone else like to share? Or people are still shy? Wow.
I joined in late, so I don't know what the question is. Good
Oh,
evening.
so if you can, good evening, ma'am. Yeah, if you can see my screen, we have like an activity
So
going on. So I
we
want
can't
each
see
person.
your screen now.
Oh, really?
I think you switched it. You switched it, so we can't see
Okay,
your
let me see.
screen.
Give me a second. Let me see
And
here.
please let's participate to the everyone. Please let's participate because it's part of we are observing everyone who is participating, and it's part of those things that we're going to consider at the end of all the trainings. Thank you.
Okay, can you see the slides now?
Yes, please, we can.
Yeah, so I want each person to write 3 to 5 things that they are grateful for. It could be things you're grateful for every day, every week, and how these things make you feel, in fact. Yeah, because of time, I'm just going to take two more persons.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Walaikum
Assalamualaikum.
salam. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. I'm grateful for the gift of life, first of all. Then waking up and seeing my family all together, alive and healthy, my friends and loved ones, being able to move around. And that's all.
Yeah, those are things that shouldn't be taken for granted. The family, the health, the life. When you visit the hospitals and you see people laying down begging for life, you know the importance of life. So those are good things. But how does it make you feel?
Well, I feel very happy because seeing my family gives me joy, and not being in the hospital, alhamdulillah for that.
All right, thanks. So I want each person to think outside of the box. Think about some skills that you have, some potentials that you have, and how these things make you feel when you use them, right? For example, I am gifted, when it comes to public speaking, especially large audience, right? And those are skills that I've been developing for quite some times. And when I speak and people receive the message in a way that is useful for them, I'm grateful for that. And it makes me feel grateful. I have this sense of gratitude, right? So I want each person to think of something that God has gifted you with. It could be some skills. It could be some ideas. Maybe you are just a problem solver. I know Mr. Sherry, for example, has some things that are very useful to the community. Those are gifts. How does these things make you feel? Does it make you feel achieved? Does it make you feel like a sense of achievement? Does it make you feel like, oh, I am useful for the community, for example? So think about these things, and I'm going to let you guys see how these things, in fact, could build your confidence and give you a very high self-esteem. So think about these things. Take your time. You don't have to give me an answer that complements maybe like the circle of just okay, life, health. Those are things that that are very important. Or at the same time, based on this topic that we are treating, because at least I want each person to live to understand how these things are the true foundations of our confidence and who we are as a person.
Okay. Can I?
Um, yes, I guess
Because I've
since
already written it down. It's part of what I actually wrote. I didn't just say it because we asked for five. So
yeah, let's hear one of it.
yeah, I'm grateful for being a teacher. Because
Okay.
all these past years, instead of enjoying myself as a single person, I was actually building knowledge. I was getting a lot of knowledge, both Islamic knowledge, both Western knowledge. So, and I'm able to use that knowledge because I'm really good with children, especially little ones, around any child from 0 to 7 years old, 8 years old. I'm really good with them, and we have a good rapport. They really like me and love me a lot when I teach them. So I'm always grateful for having the opportunity to impact because I'm able to impact both Western. I'm a teacher in a primary school setting and also a madrasa teacher as well. And I'm always happy when my students see me and they're always happy. So I'm happy for that as well.
Yeah, that's very purposeful. That's very purposeful. When you're able to impact people's life, you give from what you have, it gives you that sense of accomplishment and you're already laying down a legacy. So those are things that should build your confidence. When people are trying to talk you down and to hijack what you have to give you that low self-esteem, you think about that, that thing that you do that give you a sense of accomplishment. So you exchange the negative vibe with that positive thinking that, oh, I am someone in another place that people value me so much. People appreciate what I give. If these people don't appreciate me, I have another people that appreciate the things that I give. So those are things that I want us to think about. And that is how you switch from negative thinking to positive thinking. There is a book by John Mason, The Power of Positive Thinking. I would encourage everyone to get a copy. It's very good. It teaches you very pragmatically how to switch all negative thoughts to become someone of a positive thinking, within yourself, within your community, organizations, in your homes, in your family, and you start living a very happy life, especially when you are someone who is faithful. There is a purpose for you to fulfill, so you don't want to be distracted, right? Just one more person, someone that hasn't talked at all. I don't want to start calling people out.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Walaikum salam to that.
This is Hamdallah. Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum
So,
salam to that. How are you?
fine, sir. My first gratitude is I am grateful for family love and everyone around me. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for their love and their support. And I am grateful for them always being there for me and always showing me love. And I'm so grateful for that. Then I am grateful for myself for always waking up and always trying to do my best. And I'm grateful for self understanding and always trying to work with myself and my kind of person. And I am also grateful for school. I'm grateful for school. I'm so grateful because I have been trying to get into school, but now I'm in school and I'm so excited and happy that I am moving in my educational section. I am grateful for every single day and every opportunity I get because everyone, once you are dead, you are gone, it's over. So I'm grateful for that opportunity I have every single day. And lastly, making it the fifth, I'm grateful for gaining my skill, knowledge. And every single day, I'm grateful for always adding a plus one to my skill knowledge, trying to improve on it, trying to strategize on it, and how I can make the most out of it. I'm grateful for that. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam to that. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Every day is a new opportunity, they say. And that goes back to what I said about celebrating your daily wins, right? And I can tell you for a fact, nothing could substitute the importance of family. Family love is something you can't buy with money. Um, when I was in training, for example, we're out of communication. I didn't have no family to talk to. I miss the family because there's an impact that when you're within the family, there's an impact it makes in your life, right? So family love is something to be grateful for. Also, the skills you mentioned is important. So you want to be confident in that. You want to believe that you're someone in the process of growth. So when you are outside your secondary discourse, for example, you don't want people to bury you with an explicit tension of, oh, you are not doing enough. You know you're doing so much. So you want to be confident in that process of growth that you have laid yourself on, right? So believe in your growth. Your pace is different from the second person's pace. So believe in your pace and keep moving forward in that same pace and celebrate yourself as you go forward. So don't let people talk you down because they don't know what you're going through. They don't know the process to which you are taking to better yourself. Like you said, you're adding your one plus skills every day. These are things that you should be proud of. And these are things that you should take pride in fact. Because when you're going out there, someone is not giving you what they have. You are growing yourself within yourself. So you take pride in that. You take pride in the moments of your growth when you are awake, when people are sleeping, when you are doing the extra, when people are doing the ordinary. Those are things you take pride on and you keep your head up. That builds your confidence. Okay. Just one last one before we go forward. Dr. Amusa, I haven't talked since, if I'm right. Dr. Amusa, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Can we have your contribution, please?
I have a lot to be grateful for. I'm grateful for the fact that I'm grateful for Islam, the grace to be able to to learn more about the deen, especially around me. It keeps me on my toes. I'm grateful for me being able to understand myself better and not seeking validation from people. Now I'm trying to better myself. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my husband, especially because he he's a strong backbone for me. I'm grateful for a lot of things and the grace to be able to like try to forget a lot of traumas in the past and trying to move on and to become a better person and knowing my triggers and all of that. I'm grateful for that. And the skills I have, yeah, I like to help people. I'm a vet. I like to help people, especially those in my community. At least they know me for for that skill. At least if it is not for to gain money financial wise, I try to help them, especially small livestock owners, to give them insight into uh, situations they might find themselves with their animals. At least it makes me happy. I know that something good is coming very, very soon. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I like the point of understanding yourself and the skills that you possess, understanding your trauma, the trigger. Those are very important because when you understand those, people wouldn't tell you what you are not, and they wouldn't lead you in a direction that you don't belong to because you understand yourself, right? Understanding yourself is very paramount to having a very high self-esteem. There are people in higher position today. They have the authority, but they don't have the command. Why? Because they don't believe in what they have. They don't understand themselves, right? So being able to understand what triggers you, it helps you manage your emotion, right? And you have this implicit tension that comes from you, and you're able to make decisions when it's right, right? So I enjoy that. I was in a situation, I think some 3 years ago, that was still wearing of some past experiences. So you leave the past in the past and you live forward because there is a purpose you have to fulfill. For example, as a vet, if you don't let go of those trauma, you can't achieve your purpose. You can't impact those people. You can't raise funds for those people because you will just be talking to yourself now, oh, why did this happen? Why was it like that? Live forward. There is a more purpose to it. Maybe if that didn't happen, you wouldn't be living in this moment of today. So those are how you can think positively and focus on the skills that you have. There are some potentials within us as human that we haven't discovered yet. Why? Because our mind is focused on the past experience. And those are just to teach us the lessons. Those are lessons that you hold on to, that you can hold on to that battle of lessons. It makes you a better person. It gives you an experience to share with people, and you're able to pragmatize the things that you say, right? So I like you sharing that when people come out as such is very important, and that's a sense of confidence. Thank you guys for sharing. I appreciate that I'm not just doing the talking. I was trying to figure out my way of addressing you guys because I understand it's a mixture of audience. So I have to be very tactical in how I address you guys. So thanks for sharing. I enjoy listening to all your goals and what you are grateful for. Before we move to the next activity, because of time, I'm going to wrap up in a little bit. I like to infer that knowledge is very important. Knowledge builds confidence that you can get from training. When, for example, when you are knowledgeable about something, number one, you already have the mental confidence, right? Now, the question becomes, how are you going to unveil what you have, what you know? And that comes to going to training, that comes to skills. And each one of us have different ways of showcasing our confidence. Some people fake it to, here we say you fake it till you make it. And some people actually come out in a very wild way. It is okay. Don't measure what you can do by other people's scale. Don't measure what you can do by other people's skills because you are different from them. Now, when you are knowledgeable, I encourage each one of you to look for one way or one thing you can do. It could be bi-weekly, it could be every day to people. That when you do it to people, it brings smile on your face, right? When you are doing this, it gives you a sense of gratitude. You are able to use your knowledge and increase your self-esteem, right? That's something I like to share with you guys. Because of time, we might not be able to really do this. I was going to say write some affirmations that support your goal, but I think people that have spoken earlier, they mentioned this. But it's just more of saying, I'm confident enough, I'm capable of doing this. And you say it loud to yourself every day. When I was in my previous unit, the apartment that I was living in, I have this little manuscript at my door. Before I go out, I read it loud to myself. It's four statements. I am confident, I am better than enough, I am positive, and I can do beyond what people think of me. So each day I read it to myself. Before I step out, it's like right at my door. Before I go out, I read to myself. And I just walk out with this sense of confidence, after I've said my prayers, of course. And when I get to my place, people ask me, you don't have a problem. You're always smiling, blah, blah, blah. But I have things that I worry about, but I just bury them under my smile, right? Because I have to fuel myself with those positive thinking. Because when people see you being happy, they come talk to you. It's contagious, right? So you have this affirmation, you say it to yourself every day, and our brain functions in a way to what we speak to it. If you keep telling yourself, oh, I'm not good enough, I am a failure, your brain will keep acting in a way of failure, right? So tell yourself, I am strong, I am confident, all these positive statements and affirmations, say it to yourself every day, and your brain will be accustomed to listening to that, right? And this bonus point, you can post it on your mirror, you can post it at your door like I did. And you say to yourself, you're able to see it. If you have a skill that you've obtained, you have a certificate, print it out, post it somewhere you can see, and it reminds you of the things that you can do. Because if you have done it in the past, that means you can also do it again, right? And lastly, just to give us a recap, emotions influence your confidence. What you feel in the inside, it gives you a confidence. For example, I'm currently in a program that some days, I have opportunities to talk to them, but some days I don't feel like talking because I'm just down, right? On the inside, I don't have the strength to talk, right? But some days I'm just like 100%. I'm just high speed like that. Because what you feel on the inside, it becomes apparent on your output, and you can't hide it. You just don't feel it. So if you don't have strong emotions, you don't have those positive emotions, you can't really give, you can't really contribute. So emotions really influence our confidence, right? And you have to be aware of them. You have to be conscious. And when you feel it, that, okay, I'm not feeling good, what are the things that you can do that will revive your confidence? What are the things you can think about? It goes back to the things that, it makes you happy. So you think about those things, and it reminds you of your confidence. It reminds you of your value as a person, right? And also, negative self-talk can be stopped with effort. If you make efforts to say, instead of, like we said, you exchange those bad talk with positive. Instead of saying I'm a failure, you said I will try again and I'll become better. Understand failure to be what? First attempt in learning. And also have this sense of gratitude and optimism. Optimism is in my own book. I love optimism because it reminds you of the promise of God. It reminds you of things that will become of you instead of thinking of negative vibes, right? And they aren't just feelings, they're habits that you can develop, they're habits you can build, then it becomes part of your daily routine and you can even share with your family. Some people are think they are buried with negative thoughts. You help them change their negative thoughts to positive thoughts. For example, if someone say, oh, I can't do this, you tell him, why can't you do it? You did it yesterday. That means you can do it again. So you help people hijack their negative thoughts and you give them a positive one, because you yourself, you have what? You have the positive vibe. So you give what you have. Then lastly, self-confidence is a skill. You can build it. You can practice it every day. And like I said, the way you build your confidence will be different from the way I build mine. What you are confident in is not what I'm confident in. What I'm confident in is not what you're confident. So you have to understand yourself, understand the pace to which you go. So that's all I think I have for you guys today. And if there's any other contribution, if there's any questions, I will use the last minutes to answer them. I pray to God to help you remember the things that we said that is beneficial, whatever I've said that would lead you in the wrong direction. I pray that you forget them. And whatever I've said that is good to is from Allah. Whatever I've said that is wrong is from my own imperfections and little knowledge. So thank you guys for listening. It's been a plum pleasing pleasure, and I wish you guys the very best in your future endeavors.
Jazakumullah khairan, sir. Really appreciate your time. And I would like to point out before you go that in the course of asking everyone to say what they are grateful for, I felt heartbroken at some point that nobody, not even one person, mentioned that they were grateful for our own consult for being able to put together such a training for everybody. But then, I don't know. I don't know. It's
You
I'm
know,
not trying to be.
this says um, we have. I love this word pragmatism because I learned from my current program about what it means to be pragmatic in all full sense, because they are grateful, but it's just implicit, it's buried. Their
Hmm.
presence here means they are grateful. Their contributions means they are grateful because they wouldn't be participating if this platform is not established. So the gratitude is buried under their participation.
Anyways, it doesn't come like current. I can
You
say
guys
I
should pay
don't
me
want to continue to
for
play.
take. I'm having you guys back. I'm backing you
I
guys
don't want to
up.
continue to play the devil's
Thank you,
advocate though, but then
sir. Thank you very
I would
much.
have loved to
I'm
continue to
grateful
play the devil's advocate.
for the empowerment
Aha,
program. Thank
Sister
you.
Rihanna, well done.
Jazakumullah.
Well done.
Yeah, you guys need to be grateful because such of this program they pay thousands. They pay thousands for people you know to be able to do such of this.
All right, Jazakumullah Karen once again for your time, sir. We really appreciate. I think we will be having you again tomorrow,
Yes, I
if I'm not
believe I have one
mistaken.
more section tomorrow.
So, do you have any task for us to go over ahead of tomorrow's class?
The five affirmations, people can come with that tomorrow and we can start from there, right? And I just want to add lastly, you see, self-confidence, it's something that you have to carry with yourself, especially those of you that are spouses, that are mothers and fathers. You really need this confidence because it is something you will instill in your kids. It is something you yourself have to carry. In our society today is very corrupted. You have to believe in yourself. Don't let people tell you what you are not. Sometimes confidence is in silence and humility. When you are down, someone who doesn't talk too much. It doesn't mean you are not confident, but it means you are someone who have the strength on the inside. Being strong on the inside is much important and imperative, in fact, than just being flamboyant and just being loud. No, confidence is inside of you. It's something people will observe when they listen to you, when they work with you, when they learn from you, right? So I encourage each one to look into one or two things that you do that you have as a skill that gives you that confidence and that high self-esteem. So people wouldn't tell you what you are not. People won't try to talk you down. And when people do that, you are able to defend yourself. You're able to speak up for yourself. For example, as a mom, you don't want your kid to find you not being able to speak up when you have to. They will also become cowards, right? So I just want to submit to you guys as we round up and know that it's also something that is developed gradually. It doesn't come to you 100%, but you start somewhere. You know you are becoming, you are in progress of developing, and by so doing, you become someone who is very confident in speech and in action, right? So that's my submission. So thank you guys for listening. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Jazakumullah Karen to facilitator. You can have, you've seen we have our task now, and I would say that let's prepare ourselves for the task tomorrow. Until same time, till the same time tomorrow, let's be there, let's be ready. Let us come late, oh please. Coming late made us not start early. So till then, thank you very much, and goodbye for now. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi
Welcome.
wabarakatuh.
Nice answer, welcome. So, Jazakumullah khairan.
Welcome. People is here today, and so as not to waste much time, I would call on Comrade Captain Major Taiwo Abdulgaffar to start the session, sir. You're welcome, sir.
Can everyone hear me well?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. I have an opening question. So is everyone here a Muslim?
Yes, I believe, but your voice seems a bit low. Is everything okay, sir?
Yeah, maybe I'm just in my bedroom voice. Don't worry, it's going to escalate very soon.
All right, no problem. No problem, sir. No problem, sir. So yes,
Okay,
yes, all of us here are Muslims so far. Yes.
okay, I just want to be sure because I'll be waving much more on the side of Islamic perspective of this topic today, inshallah.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and if there's anyone who isn't, please they should signify so you're not religiously biased. Okay, having said that, Bismillahi wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. Begin in the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. We ask Allah to open our hearts to benefit from this gathering today and allow us to remember everything that will be beneficial in our lives and whatever we would say that would derail us from the path of Islam, from our daily endeavors. May Allah let us forget them. So yesterday we stopped at going through some practical questions, and I remember I said we're going to begin today by some affirmations that I've requested of you guys. So I would like to start with that. I need one or two volunteers to speak to us about the affirmations, and maybe peradventure you've been able to justify that from yesterday and what has changed, if you will.
Hi, Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wabarakatuh.
Walaikum salam to barakatuh.
Hi, so once again, I'm Raihan. So here are my 5 affirmative statements. Number one is I am confident. Usually, why I said that is that I don't usually like to um, talk too much to people when I don't know anything. So I just try to keep quiet. And when I'm like offended, I just like to keep quiet instead of facing that person and talking confidently about my feelings. So I am confident. I am bold. I usually get scared easily with things, most especially back in my youth, in my childhood. In my childhood, we used to watch this vampire movie, so it really got me afraid even till I got older. So it is now that I'm trying to face that. What's the time vampire movie? So I am bold. So I don't want to be afraid of anything anymore. Then I can become better because I usually that's in respect to my character, so how I relate with people. I want to become a better wife, a better Muslim, a better mother. So I can actually become better because I used to have this notion that our character is part of us. So there are some characters that we cannot change that is permanent. I don't want to believe that a particular character is permanent. For example, anger. I don't want to believe that it's permanent, that I can become better with it. Then I am a winner. I don't like quitting. Quitting. Once I have a challenge to deal with, instead of just disturbing myself psychologically, I try to just charge forward, even when that it might be a bit um, problematic, but I try to charge forward and get results. So I am a
Yeah.
winner and I am rich. I put that with successful anyway. I am rich in the sense that many teachers in Nigeria, you get paid less. We are not that very rich, I'm not that very buoyant. But I now see myself not rich financially, but at least the children have impacted, the lives have changed, the joy I've brought to people's faces now made me realize that not everything's about the salary I'm getting anyway. Do I need the salary? But I am successful.
So thanks for sharing that. I really appreciate. You want to maintain your confidence, and sometimes silence is power. Like I said yesterday, sometimes there are people who walk very humbly. They don't speak so much. It doesn't mean they are not confident. It's just like they find strength in silence. They listen more than they speak. There is a quote that when you open your mouth to speak, you introduce yourself to the world. And also, when you speak when it's necessary, not when you want people to hear you speak. Okay. So keep that to yourself. And when it's imperative for you to speak out, when you are being wronged, you speak at the moment if you can attain it. But if you can't contain it with emotion, then you step back, you give it some time, then you go back to it. And that goes to everyone. If you're able to manage your emotion, you speak up immediately so things doesn't pile up, especially for people that are married, right? And also, the thing, yeah, stay away from horror movies. They disrupt your life. So thanks for sharing that again. Keep those wins to yourself, keep those confidence and things that keep you going. Continue to say to yourself every day, let it bring smile to your face so you can pass it on to people around you. Anyone else want to share? Okay, if people are still working on their confidence and self-esteem, it's fine. I understand. Oh, Aziza, go ahead, please. Sister Aziza.
Naam, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam to the barakatuh, everyone.
Now, so the five self affirmation quotes I wrote. So the first one is, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be in Allah's divine plan. I use this particular affirmation to take myself off things that tends to bother me, in terms of maybe looking at my colleagues that they've achieved more than I do and stuff like that. That's the first one. So the second one, I focus on what I can control and leave the rest with Allah.
Mm.
I mostly use this in all my activities, like, because it has really helped me a lot in the sense that it doesn't make me eventually depressed or have self pity
Mhm.
with myself that I was not able to do this thing. So, but after this is going to come after I've seen that I've tried my very best to. Not that I will use this at first to bring up the lazy person in me. So then the third one is, I can become a better version of myself if I don't give up and keep learning. So I believe that even if I have lapses, I can still do better if I don't give up. So the other two, they are related to my business. So the first one is, I'm confident in my ability to connect with customers and close deals. This is always giving me a big vibe when it comes to relating with people, especially my customers, because I used to feel down of myself that maybe because I'm too nice, people are taking me for granted.
Mhm.
They feel like I'm not giving them, like, I don't know how to put it. I believe that I'm giving them what is worthwhile. But maybe the way they reciprocate it back to me, it make me feel like maybe I'm not doing the very best. So with this, I'm saying that I'm giving them what is right too. It's just for me to build up my confidence that what I'm giving them is the best, and they will
Mm.
eventually know my worth after, if I don't give up.
Yeah.
So, and the last one is, I'm grateful for every opportunity to serve my customer and meet their needs. This one is like, eventually when I give people, when I offer a service to people, I always feel very happy at the end that I'm this useful. This person made use of what I give them. So it tends to push me to keep going, that no, the fact that you're making people happy with what you do, you don't have to give up, even if I have other form of criticism and all. Yeah, that's also.
Thank you very kindly for sharing that. I enjoy listening to them. I'm glad everyone here is a Muslim. If I'm wrong, if someone joins that are not Muslim, please quickly let me know, Mr. Sharif, because like I said, most of my talk will be Islamically complemented. So for sharing that, they said you don't know the value of what you have until you lose it. Those people that take your kindness for weakness, it's not their fault. You are doing your best to meet up what Islam has required of you in terms of business. So don't worry about their reciprocation. Allah will reward you. Okay. Then your confidence in business is okay as long as everything is in line with your goal and what you are making of profit Islamically. Everything will eventually come to what would benefit you. It's like the pain in the growing moment that you have to go through when your business bloom and all these people that don't know your value now, they'll come to you asking for your service. So keep doing what is right. As long as what you're doing brings you joy and you're smiling when you're making people smile, you're smiling when you're meeting people's need. This is the most important. There are people who do business, there are people who have entities of their own, they are not happy. But when you are doing things that you love, it brings you more joy. I'll give you an example. At my workplace, even though they pay us good, but not the best. But then every day when I was in my previous unit, I said it yesterday, I think, I try to wear a smile on my face and just go to do things that would make me happy, right? Even though there are people who are always having negative vibes, I try to make sure I'm going there just to be fine, to enjoy working, and I can come back home for free, right? And the other thing that you said that I love so much was leaving your affairs to Allah. When things doesn't go our way, it is most paramount for us as Muslims to leave it to Allah. Because why? We didn't bring ourselves here. And Allah told us in the Quran, بعد استعاذة فإذا عزمت فتوكل على Allah. Once you make decisions, you leave it to Allah. Allah would guide the believers. Allah will guide it to what is right. وَكَذَلِكَ نُنْجِي الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. That is how Allah saves and protects the believers, right? So leaving things to Allah when you don't understand it, because eventually we can't get to the depth of understanding our affairs. We do not write our own destiny. So sometimes you just have to leave it to Allah and ask Allah for guidance, right? You make your decision, you do your best, like you said, you do your human effort, and you leave the rest to Allah. And Allah would save you. If you are going the wrong direction, if you are pray to Allah, Allah will redirect you. And I can tell you this from experience. Allah will bring you back right on track, right? Because in other Quran, يَهْدِي لِلَّذِي أَقْوَمُ. The Quran guides people to what is right. And as Muslim, what do we have? We have the Quran. So thanks for sharing that. That's just my little comment on that. You guys would have probably observed that I'm already giving some Islamic contributions already, which I think it's better to address this speech, and that would lead me to what I have planned today. You will see that I don't have slides because I was thinking I'm someone who believe in results, right? So I like when I speak to an audience, even if it's just one person, even if it's just one person that benefits, I am more joyful than just speaking, ranting, and just hearing myself speak. So that's why I decided not to make no slide today and just speak from the heart. And be inshallah by the guidance of Allah, I hope that Allah open our hearts to benefit. Before I go into that, I listened to there's a sister, she's famous in the US, and I'd like to share this speech with you guys. She's by name Sister Dunia Shuaib. You guys probably know her, maybe. She's an author. She's also a founder of a group called Guided Hearts. I watched this video, very short, or someone raised their hand that they know her, inshallah. And she kind of qualifies everything that we've been speaking about since yesterday, in terms of happiness, in terms of confidence. And she shared that there was a research that when people are much happier when they receive hug from their spouses, when they wear smile on their face, and when they give charity and gratitude. And it makes me remember, like, that means when people are speaking the truth, or you are speaking in the right direction, no matter where you are or no matter the direction, your speech would collide, because I remember yesterday we were speaking of gratitude and, looking for one thing that you can do that will bring smile on your face. So I was listening to that video just like few minutes before now, and I was like, mashallah, this actually complements what we've been talking about since yesterday. So I said I was going to share with you guys, and may Allah reward the sister as well. So just to tell us, someone said I joined the class, and I would also like to share my affirmations. Okay, give me 1 second, please, inshallah. So try to wear smile on your face. It is sunnah. Sometimes I've experienced this. Sometimes people smile, especially in the US. People have fake smile. They smile at you, but inside of them, it's evil. But we can't see the inside. So the Allah that see the inside, we just do our best to reciprocate with kindness and leave them to Allah. I've experienced people that you're not 100% sure if these people really mean positivity when they smile at you, right? And we are in the midst of people that you don't know what their intention is against you. But do your best, make yourself happy. Don't let people's negative vibe collide with your positivity. Don't let them snatch away your energy, right? Because sometimes you'll be broken down, you become weak. They try to hijack your happiness. So you don't, let them do that to you, and you keep your happiness to yourself. Always, return negativity with kindness, and look for one thing that you can do in forms of charity, and this is paramount. You guys probably experience it. If you give in charity, or if you do something that makes people happy, you yourself on the inside, you feel that happiness that you can't buy with money, right? So I just want to share that. So before I go to what I have prepared today, speaking of the Islamic view of confidence and self-esteem, I would give the audience to Sister Khadija Alade to share information. So we can go ahead, please.
Naam, assalamu alaikum, sir. Now, the first one is, in every situation, I assure myself that I did my best and Allah has a reason for everything, whether I excel or not. Uh, um, the second one is I am not perfect and neither do my imperfection define me. The third one is my personality is not defined by whatever people say about me. I am who I am.
Mhm.
The fourth one is before expecting love from anybody, I owe myself self love.
Mhm.
And the last one is in every life situation, I depend on no one except Allah.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Thanks. That's it, right? Thanks for sharing that. I really appreciate those points. They are valid. I like when people speak directly and bluntly. I'm gonna start where you left off. Giving things to Allah, like I complimented to uh, sister, I think Aziza, right? You know, when you live soft to Allah, you have this inner peace, right? Allah takes care of you, Allah. And I can tell you very pragmatically, you know, Allah takes care of you. As long as you're doing what is right, Allah will take care of you. Now, the point of self-love, it's important. I have this rule when I was still in Nigeria, I believe in or in secondary school. When I do something good in class, I reward myself. Like you gift yourself. I read this book by what's his name? Fela Durotoye. And that book actually the 17 rules of something I forgot. Or 17 rules of something, I believe. And you know, he gifted this book to me one of his workshop and I read those books. He spoke about self-love and you know, gifting yourself in sense of appreciation. So from that time, I always buy something for myself. If I do an exam, I succeed. If I achieve something that I set for myself as a goal, I try to celebrate yourself because sometimes people don't see the hard work that you go through. And you have to be proud of yourself. If you don't take pride in your own accomplishments, people wouldn't see it and they don't even have to. So you celebrate yourself. You know the hard work that you go through. For example, as a spouse, you know what you go through in your house to sustain your relationship as a mom, as a sister, as a brother. There are things you do on the inside that only you and Allah knows. So you celebrate yourself, show yourself some love, right? Take yourself out for lunch, buy yourself a book, buy yourself a clothes, you know, something that you love, buy it for yourself. Because if you keep doing for people and you forget yourself, it's not just fine. Also, the point of imperfection, right? I have this rule as well. I'm someone that loves quotes very much, you know, because I write. And writers are readers, they love to read and to write. So I said people's definition of you it doesn't mean your reality. Don't let people's definition of you becomes your reality because they don't know you really. People don't know you in silence. They don't know you when you come out, right? To give you an example, in this program that I'm currently doing for the army, you know, I'm a quiet person, like people might know, and I don't really say too much until it's necessary for me to speak, right? And because these are people have known me to be in this space of silence. So there was a day I was called out to speak, and people were amazed. And I'm saying this in all sense of humility, right? So it doesn't mean like when people leave their perception of you to them, you know yourself on the inside. So that's where you walk with confidence because they would be shocked, right? They don't know you really. So you give yourself that definition of yourself. You owe yourself to a high standard. If you do that, then people will also hold you in that regard. You respect yourself and people will respect you. Because if you don't respect yourself, you don't give yourself this high self-esteem. People will just take you for granted. So it starts from the inside, like we said, right? And lastly, what was it again? Yeah, I think I covered it imperfection and people's definition of you. So keep doing that and always say this to yourself as you grow in life, as you continue in your daily endeavors, continue to say these affirmations to yourself and it will remind you of who you are. There was also a research, right? That people who speak happiness to themselves, people who speak positivity, it controls the sadness portion of your brain to redirect to being happy and you manage yourself, right? So this helps you to be mentally fit, to be spiritually grounded, and physically upholded. Right? As a Muslim, for example, you connect to the Quran, you read the Quran, you say your salat on time, you read books that inspire you, you listen to lectures that motivate you, you work with people that keeps you going. There are people who are dream killers. Stay away from them. And you surround yourself with people of the similar goal, people who continue to tell you, hey, you got this, you can do it. Not people that will tell you, oh no, it's too much for you. You are too young, for example. I have a lot of people who tell us this. When I was in Nigeria, I was like, who were in this youth wahala. There are people who tell you, no, you're too young, it's not time for this yet. They can't do it, so they think you cannot do it. So don't let people that are of negative vibe get into your circle. When they come into your circle, flush them away. That's the rule. Just flush them away. Okay. And be confident in doing that. Sometimes we shy away from taking steps that affect our life because we are too carried away from people's perception of us, what people would think, what people would say. This thing has killed so many dreams because you are afraid, oh, they will say this, people will always say something. Even if you please them, I learned this from economics, the basic, one of the basic concepts of economics, right? Human wants is unsatiable. You can't please people. You always strive to please Allah through His people, right? As once you know you can't please people, focus on pleasing Allah. And once your intention is clean, that's it. Leave the rest to Allah. Okay. Um, so that is my prelusion. I'm going to move forward to what I really have prepared for today. I hope I'm making sense. I need three people to give a thumbs up if you are making sense and they are following along. I need three people to give a thumbs up. If one, two, and one more at least. Three. All right, thanks. So moving forward, you see, as Muslims, we are the best of nations, as the Quran has told us, and we have what it takes to be much confidence, both in silence and in vibrancy, and to have this high self-esteem. Right? The Quran told us that kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat linnas. You are the best of nations that has been descended in all humanity. Allah gave us this honor so much so He wants us to walk with our head high in humility, but then to have this self-pride on the inside. One of my leaders in the army would say, Muslims, we are the most qualified. We are the most qualified. Why? Because we do what Allah tells us to do. We strive to do what we are told to do, and we stay away from what we are not supposed to do. And if you look at various institutions today, be it educational institution, social institution, those are the two things that they require of you. They tell you, even if you go for a job interview, they tell you these are the things you should do, these are the things you shouldn't do, right? So as Muslims, we are the most qualified. So we want to hold this as a sense of pride, as a form of motivation that gives us an inner confidence. And you say, I keep pointing back to the word inner, is intrinsic. To be confident is very implicit. It comes from the inside. That's how you carry yourself. So once you remember number one, and I tell myself this, I think from the year 2020, I stopped worrying about what people think of me. Because why? People would always think of something. So you build this self-confidence from the inside and continue to focus on your dealing with Allah. If you are dealing with people, remember, I'm dealing with you for the sake of Allah. So it gives you a very pure heart, it makes you do things very easily. You don't strive to be hard. You are not devil-hearted, right? So that's number one. And even at that, Allah told us that Ya ayyuhan nabi asbukallahu wa man ittaba'aka minal mu'minin. Allah told the Prophet that I would surprise you and those who have submitted their affairs to you, they have followed the teachings to which you have brought, which is Islam. So if we know this for a fact, we know that when we are walking into a group, nothing should shake you because Allah said it will suffice you, right? And who should you fear, in fact? All these people that we are afraid of, to speak in the midst of people, to speak out the things that we are passionate about, because they're going to compliment, they're going to say, oh, maybe you are not confident enough. Allah created them, and you have Allah. You should focus on the one who creates the people you are afraid of. Don't solicit help from people. just for them to ride you by because you are not confident, right? So once you believe this, you would have this firm understanding that is very solid, right? That I am a Muslim, I am a follower of Prophet Muhammad, I have the Quran, I pray 5 times a day. Why shouldn't I be confident, right? And one of the scholars said, La tahsaban, don't be afraid of any king. Don't be afraid of any kings because the highest king that you have is Allah. Allah is Malikul Mulk, right? The king of all kings. So if you find yourself, for example, in a gathering, it's okay to start being fearful. Being afraid. Being afraid doesn't mean you are fearful. Sometimes I get to a podium, I started speaking, and my voice is shaking. I tell people that it's not like I'm afraid of you guys or I'm being oppressed though. But this is how I start off my own speech. The first 2 minutes I stumble, which is fine. Right? So you don't let people press you down with their own negativity. You always want to be confident, even though your voice is shaking. One of my dozen principles, this is one of my principles. That even if my voice is shaking, I will speak the truth to power, right? So these are principles you want to uphold to yourself. It keeps you grounded. It keeps people around you grounded, and it lets people respect you, in fact, right? So that's the first thing I'm going to put to you guys. The second thing is the Quran. You see, the best gift that we can ever be given as a Muslim and as humanity, in fact, is the gift of Quran. Allah said in the Quran, يا أيها الناس قد جاءتكم موعظة من ربكم وشفاء لما في الصدور. A word of advice, an admonition has come to you from your Lord. And Allah is addressing the humanity here, in fact. Why? Because you see people that are traumatized, people that are downpressed, they are sad, they are not happy. It's because they are away from the Quran. And go and make your research. I challenge each one of you to go make that research. You will realize that most people that are traumatized today and the highest rate of suicide are from people who don't get close to the Quran. Because Allah told us again in another verse that your heart will only find peace with the remembrance of Allah. Allah bi dhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. And we walk each day being sad because we are looking for solution to our hearts. And you should have already known that the good and the bad is from Allah because watilkal ayyam yudawwiluha bainan nas. The good and the bad days, Allah interchange it between human people. Some days you are down, some days you are up. Some days you are very strong, some days you are weak. So if you understand this, you always push things back to Allah and your heart will find peace. Each time you return to Allah, each time you return to the Quran will give you that serenity, that peace of mind that you can't even get from using, a trauma medicine or some pills that they prescribe to you. The Quran gives you beyond that, and I can tell you this for a fact, right? Before I share that story, let's go back to that verse that I preceded. Allah said, "The book of Allah has come to humanity. Washifa'un lima fi sudur." Allah he capitally highlights. He said, the Quran is what is the cure to what disturbs the heart. From the inside is when you lose confidence. From the inside is when you don't believe in yourself. You don't give yourself the thumbs up of a high self-esteem. But once you are able to cure that disease of the inside, of doubts, the disease of looking down at yourself, you've connected to the Quran because the Quran reassures you of who you are. The Quran tells you that you are much than how you look at yourself. Why? Because you are a Muslim. You submit to La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah. This is enough for you. And Allah continue in that same verse. Wahudan wa rahmatun lil mu'minin. Allah said this Quran is a guide and a mercy to the believers. It's a blessing to the believers. You see the distinction is very clear. You see the distinction. We as believers, we have the Quran not just to cure the disease of our hearts, but to guide us and to be a form of mercy for us, right? So when you think about this and you take time to ponder upon this verse, in fact, you see that Allah has gifted us something that we can't buy with money. Allah has given us what people can give to us. And I give you this story. When I was in my unit, I was going through some stuff and my heart was craving for something. I wanted to pour out my mind. I wanted to talk to someone. I was boiling on the inside. I mean, I was able to talk to a few people and I was recommended therapy. Right. I went to this therapy. It meets 2, 3 times a week. He's always read this. Do you need some medication? I said, I'm not someone who use pill. Okay, we keep meeting. She tells me sometimes I feel like, oh, after leaving the section, it's helpful. Like 3 hours, I feel like, oh, this section is very helpful, mashallah. Then the next day, I went to talk to a chaplain. I feel good. I tell him all my life story. Nalayo, if I lived there, it's the same story. I became the same person that I was before I walked into his door. So I'm like, bro, I need something better than this. I need to do something better to suffice myself. I'm feeling sad on the inside. There was no one to really understand me. I feel like these people that I'm talking to, they understand me just a bit of my life. They don't understand what I'm really struggling with. And to cut this story short, what I was really craving for was my connection to Allah. I was missing that connection to Allah, and that was what my heart was craving for. And because I haven't given it to it, that's the food of the heart. It keeps asking for it, and I was feeling sad. It goes to each one of us. Each time you are sad, it's because your soul wants to return to Allah. Your soul wants to hear you read the Quran. It wants to listen to you make dua to Allah, right? Because you see, this world, it is not for us. And our soul sometimes always crave to his abode, which is to meet with Allah. So by the time Allah guided me to realize this, that this is what I was missing, then He brought me closer to the Quran. And I tell you not, and I don't have to swear, but I can tell you for a fact that as long as I started reading the Quran, I just felt this peace from the inside. Like there's this serenity, totally changed the whole story, right? And even these people that sometimes that I go talk to, I give them advice. You see, and I started reading the Quran. I have this English and Arabic then. I will read the translation. And sometimes your heart shakes when you read the Quran. My wife once told me that it's very amazing that even if you don't understand the meaning of the Quran and you read the Quran, there's just this serenity that comes with it. Because it is the word of Allah. We don't see Allah. We don't know where Allah is. But Allah communicates to us through the Quran. So why wouldn't the Quran give us the peace of mind? لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. Allah said, if we are to descend this Quran upon the mountain, you would have seen it very flattened. It will flatten with the ground. Why? Because min khashiyatillah, in the fear of Allah. So if you are worried so much, you have so much sadness inside of you, if you read the Quran, it should take away the mountain of worry. Aqsamtu billah. I tell you this for a fact. If you read the Quran sometimes, it will be as if Allah is speaking to your direct situation, your current situation. It will be as if Allah knows. So I'm encouraging each one of us today. Let us strive to connect to the Quran. The Quran gives you this confidence, like it's so contagious. It's so contagious. I tell you, wallahi ta'ala, you have this strength from the inside. It drives everything. It refuels your energy, and people around you will just keep wondering, where is this coming from? Is this not the person that we know yesterday? Everything changes. And if you keep going in the same pace, you keep going every day, you don't stop. You just keep building yourself spiritually. And I'll tell you what, the Quran feeds you spiritually, mentally, and even physically. There's this charisma that you carry, right? So I just want to share those stories with you because I believe, like I said yesterday, stories and experience becomes history, and you can only speak to that if you have experienced it. So these are some of the things that I, as a person, have experienced, and I can share with you. Um, in writing, there are three basic concepts that gives creative writing. One of it is ethos. It gives credibility to the speaker. So I'm telling you this so you can see, as if you will, a sense of credibility in terms of what I have gone through myself, in terms of experience and exposure, and how I was able to handle the situation. And no matter what situation you find yourself, if you get closer to the Quran, in other Quran, yahdi lilladhi hiya aqwam. The Quran will guide you to what is right, because it is a promise of Allah. It is a promise of Allah that if you go to the Quran only with the remembrance of Allah, will your heart find find peace. And whosoever leave the remembrance of Allah, that is when you look down at yourself. وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا. This is the word of Allah. Allah said, whoever stay away from my remembrance, such person will live a very hard life, right? So it goes back to what I said about uh, the rate of suicide, for example, the rate of sadness and worry. That is because people have been away from the guidance Allah has given to us. So if you think yourself being unhappy, it's because you have been away from Allah, right? And as believers, the only antidote we have to all our problems is the Quran. Allah said, if you stay away from my remembrance, your life will be hard. We ask Allah to make things easy for us. So this is a reminder for me and for each one of you to try when you are down. And Shaitan always come to you. You know, he press you down more. He doesn't want you to return to Allah. But once you are able to push yourself, as much as you are worried, you are sad, try to open the Quran. You know, even if it's just one page, give your connection to Allah as if you are seeing Allah in front of you. And I can promise you, before you stand up from where you are seated, you will have that fulfillment of the heart, that serenity from the inside. It will refuel everything in your body, and you will come out very happy, and your confidence will increase, your self-esteem will be very high, and the people around you will contain it, right? So this is a message that I've prepared today to share with us, to let us know that we have the best of gifts that gives us what we want in terms of positivity, in terms of believing in ourselves, in terms of knowledge and confidence, which is the gift of the Quran, the gift of being the follower of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the gift of Islam and being believers. It tells us that you are the most qualified, and Allah has indeed honored the believers. So I'm going to stop here for now to entertain questions in the next few minutes. And if anything, I'll be happy to answer, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wait, can people hear me? Subhanallah.
Yes, you can, sir.
Oh, I was like, Subhanallah, why have I been speaking?
We can hear you.
MashaAllah. Okay, inshallah. Yeah, when I said salam and no one responded, I was like, hey, hope I've not been pouring water in the basket like this.
At all. Alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Inshallah. Okay, yeah, if people have questions, inshallah, maybe one or two.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan, sir, for the beautiful session. Ask Allah to continue to preserve your goodness and increase your beneficial knowledge, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Ameen. Jazakumullah khairan.
Sir, please, there's a question I have, sir.
Mhm.
The question is, I want to cite an example. For example, there's an aspect of the religion where Allah told us not to engage in such acts, for example, now. So after I've understood that aspect, I said, oh, I'm not going to do this thing again. I promised myself I'm not going to do it. But you still find yourself getting back into that thing again.
Mhm.
So, but when you now see that I've done this thing again, you feel very sad, you're not happy. It's
Allah
people reflect and everybody will see that what's wrong with you today? Why are you not happy? You're not. But how can one restrain oneself from falling into that sin, like going back into that thing? So I don't know. And and how do I really know that maybe, like say, I don't know how to put it to. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of a way to express it. Okay.
That's fine.
There's these aspects of Tawheed that they teach in Madrasa. The aspect of loving Allah. So how do I really know personally myself that I love Allah? Is that something that when we are reading the Quran, we should relate like we are seeing Allah, Allah is with us? I don't know. Can that thing come practically that you would be able to feel it that Allah is in front of me, something like that?
Allahu Akbar. No,
So I
mashallah,
don't
la
know. Is it
quwwata illa
that the
billah.
level of the religion is still not that? I don't know.
You see, thank
No.
you very much for those
Jazakumullah
two.
khairan, sir.
Yeah.
No.
You see, thank you very kindly for those two beautiful questions. Those are questions that are very, very solid, and I hope it benefits everyone, inshallah. Let me start from the second one about loving Allah. You see, the love of Allah, it comes, uh, it's easy to obtain. Let us put it that way, right? Allah said, whoever comes to me walking, I comes to them running. Number one. And number two is when Allah speak of the awliya Allah, people that He loves in the Quran, He gives them two characteristics. He said they are mu'minun and they are muttaqun. They are believers and they are fearful of Allah. They guide away from evil. Now, those two things, look at the attribute of faith. If you believe in those attributes, you are qualified as a believer. If you are fearful of Allah in the closed doors and in open doors, and you fear Allah as if He sees you, you also qualify as taqwa. So those two things are where we struggle. And the first, the taqwa goes back to your first question about sinning, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit. Now, going back to attaining the love of Allah, you see, al-iman, yazid wa yankus, it goes up and down. And the rank of worshipping Allah as if you see Him is called Maqam al-Ihsaniyya. Al-Ihsan, as the Prophet Jibril alayhi salam, when he came to the Prophet in the first hadith of Al-Imam al-Nawawi, he said, "An ta'bud Allah ka'annaka tara." You worship Allah as if you see Him like this. That is Al-Ihsan. So you see, it is called Al-Ihsan. Now, it comes with doing good deed, and this is an action step, I'm telling you. To attain that position, you do much of good deeds, you do what is right, and you try to stay away from what is wrong, right? And al ihsan is when you are doing all of this, like we said, giving charity, volunteering for Islamic cause, praying tahajjud, that is a very strong one, reading the Quran. You see, all of this would increase your iman, and you wouldn't even have enough. If you haven't done what is good, your heart will not be at peace, and it will take you away from evil. It will take you away from doing what is wrong. And once you yourself will know from the inside, you will feel it. Allah would help you to feel it from the inside that your iman is increasing. Now, once this iman is increasing, you get to the position of ihsan. Then Allah will get closer to you. He will get you closer to Him. He will wake you up in the tahajjud. He will bring you closer to Him because He knows you are striving to connect to Him. Now, once you are striving, Allah is looking at you. He's trying to see if you are serious or not. If you are sincere or not, Allah knows. Now, once He has seen that you are being sincere, it brings you closer. And that is why He said, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. This is a promise of Allah. Allahu Akbar. Allah said, those who strive to connect to us, they want to obtain our love, we make it easy for them. The things that you will do, the people that you will meet, the people that you will connect to, lectures that you will listen to, the book that you will read, places you will go to, that will connect you to Allah, that will give you the love of Allah. Allah said, we will make it easy for you because you have been striving. In Allah, yuhibbul muhsinin. You see, very beautiful, mashallah. Allah ends by saying He loves those that are doing what is good. So you see, doing what is good, and you the love of Allah, right? Irhamu man fil ardi yarhamukum man fis sama. You do good to the people of this world, the people of Sama, they will do good to you. They will descend to you. So when you are reading the Quran, you're doing what is good, you're doing charity, you're waking up for tahajjud, all these good deeds, earn you the love of Allah. And you see, earning the love of Allah is the big deal. Once you earn it, that's it. Because Allah loves you first before you love Him. Right? We don't love Allah first. It is by His love He puts in our heart that we are able to love Him. So if you are doing what is good, know for a fact that means you love Allah and Allah has loved you. Right? If you find yourself doing what is good, waking up for tahajjud, mashallah, that means Allah loves you, and know that if He loves you, then you love Him too. You see? So this is how you can measure yourself. And I like to say that this is not permanent. It goes up and down. Sometimes you are struggling in the course because we are, as long as you are living, you have to struggle. You struggle to. That's why he told the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that wa'budu rabbaka hatta yatiyaka al-yaqin. You worship Allah until death comes to you. So each day of Allah, we continue to strive. We continue to strive. We ask Allah for forgiveness, ask Allah for guidance, and by doing all of this, you earn the love of Allah. And once Allah loves you, that's it. It tells the Jibreel, I love this person. Jibreel will tell the angels, love this person. If Allah loves you, all other creatures in this world, human and the jinn and the birds and the animal, they will love you. You see, and you wouldn't have to solicit help from people. Allah will put it in the heart of people to love you, to help you, to just give you things you don't ask for, right? So that is that about the love of Allah. Now to your second question about sin. You see, we are all created with imperfections. We can never be perfect. We are not masoom. Only the Prophet was, Allah helped him when Jibril came down to him to purify his heart. You see, when he says in Alam Nasha Laka Sadrak, only Allah purifies the heart of the Prophet, taking away what will make the envy, the portion of sadness in his heart. We are full of imperfections. We continuously sinning. And Allah opened up his door of maghfirah. I give you this very close example. In the Quran, Allah said He was giving narration of people who have disbelieved. Allahu Akbar. And even someone who have killed, in fact, if you kill someone, I think it's Surah Al-Furqan, if I'm right. If Allah was giving attribute of not doing zulum, not doing injustice to people. Now, beneath this verse, He said, even if you have done it, Allahu Akbar, Allah praised Himself. He said, إِلَّا مَنْ تَابَ وَآمَنَ عَمِلَ صَالِحًا فَأُولَٰئِكَ يُبَدِّلُ اللَّهُ سَيِّئَاتِهِمْ حَسَنَاتٍ. Allahu Akbar. Allah said, people that have wronged themselves, Allah, when you repent to Allah and you do what is good, Allah would change your bad deeds, your sin, into good for you. How merciful is our Lord, right? He said, things you have done that is wrong, because you have felt the guilt from the inside, you know you have wronged Allah, and you repent to Him, and you do what is good after that, Allah will change your bad deeds to good deeds. Innal hasanat yuhibbuna sayyi'at. Innal hasanat yuhibbuna sayyi'at. Doing what is good, yuhibbuna sayyi'at. It erases your bad deeds. This is the word of Allah. So when you do what is wrong, because each one of us will continue to sin, follow immediately by doing a good action, then Allah will erase it. And just to conclude, Allah told you and I that if you have wronged yourself, la taqnatu min rahmatillah. Don't despise from the mercy of Allah. Don't lose hope in the mercy of Allah, because inna Allah yaghfiru dhunuba jami'an. Allah forgive all sin. I've been in your shoes. If you sin, if you do something, you sin 1,000 times, go to Allah 1,001 times, and you will find Allah al-Ghafurur Rahim. You will find Allah waiting for you to forgive. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that if you are to be full of action and you don't sin to Allah at all, Allah will erase you in this world and bring a nation of people that will sin, and Allah will forgive them. They'll ask Allah for forgiveness. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How beautiful is this? This is for us to know that we have been created with imperfection and we will always sin to Allah. Because if you don't sin, how would Allah use His maghfirah? How would Allah use His ghafur on us? So we have to sin. But Allah loves in Allah yuhibbul tawwabin wa yuhibbul mutatahhirin. Allah loves people that when they sin, they do something that is wrong, they return to Allah. You see, this rujon ila Allah, it is what Allah loves. Allah loves you to always return because He wants to hear your voice. He wants to hear you say astaghfirullah. He wants to hear you say la ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin. So Allah loves you, and you going back to Allah, Allah would give you the love. You see, yuhibbullaha kulluha awlai nas. Allah loves these people that return to Him. So all of this is because Allah wants you closer to Him. He wants to love you more, right? So, and you made a good point that when you do something bad, you felt bad inside. This is a good sign of repentance. And one of the principles of repentance is anadam. Anadam ala mafat. You regret what you do. If you regret, that means you have taqwa inside of you. You have the fear of Allah. And Allah loves this kind of action. And if you return to Allah, Allah will erase your mistakes and make you stronger. We ask Allah to purify our hearts and make us stronger, increase our faith. I'm sorry I took so long to answer this question, but I hope it's beneficial for all, inshallah. So,
Why Santa Veronica, sir? Because I have a question, yes, sir. I've been waiting for it.
inshallah,
All right.
inshallah,
So
I
my
have 2
question is,
minutes.
all right, in our African setting, most the people are not given the opportunity to explain their actions. Maybe when they do something, and instead of people trying to listen to their reasons, they'll say they are arguing. They are not remorseful. They are arguing. Now, mostly this usually happens to the young and the older people. So when the older people are talking, they don't give room for, oh, let me explain myself. Now, my question does is, now you've been, no, when they are now talking, you have to be apologetic and not give any reason at the end of the day. So now you've been apologetic when they are done. Is it lack of self-esteem, or when you are trying to explain yourself, are you arguing? Because I don't understand the concept of argument. Because the prophet said we should not argue, but people don't want to listen to your excuse. So how do you want to go about to your own reason? So how do you want to go about it?
It's in two folds. Thanks for asking the question this morning. You see, I think it was just yesterday or 2 days ago, myself and my wife were talking about the fear of people and how that complements our confidence. You see, when you are being, we enrange ourselves with fear of people. It's not because we are afraid of them, but it's our culture, and as an act of respect, we embody ourselves with fear of our parents, the people that are older than us, in a form of respect. And sometimes our parents need to be careful with this too. It takes away the confidence and courage of young people, right? So when you are doing that as a person, it's not like you lack self-esteem. It is not. It's just because the cultural norm of, oh, we have to do this for them to see that we respect them. You have to be quiet when they speak. But on the inside of you, when things have died down, I think it's okay for you the next day, for example, you say, oh, mom, what you did yesterday, I think, can we talk about this? I think this is my view. Even if, especially in Yoruba, say, oh, no, then so, you have to understand them, but make sure if they don't listen to you, do like Prophet Yaqub, alayhi salam. Go back to Allah, complain to Allah and cry to Allah. Innama ashku bathi wa uzni ilallah. Right? You complain to Allah that Allah, they don't understand me. You ask Allah to soften their hearts so they can listen to you, understand your view, and you will see that they also return to you to say, okay, I'm sorry, or they listen to you more, right? But I want you to understand that not speaking up doesn't mean you lack self-esteem. It's just the norm of saying that as a form of respect. And since that is what they request of us, you have to give it to them. But as a person, as someone who is listening to motivational talks, who is learning in the process, you want to unlearn that is not something that deprive you of self-esteem. It's just because of what is requested. So I ask Allah to make it easy for us and grant our parents more understanding, inshallah.
I mean, Jazakumullah khairan, sir.
Oh, well. Okay, I think
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Assalamualaikum.
why was salam to that?
No. Maybe after Samaya. Samaya.
Should I continue?
Yes,
Yes, please,
continue
inshallah.
Samaya. After
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Walaikum
Okay.
salam to that.
Okay, now I just want to ask. Well done, sir. Now, I just want to ask that is it possible as a human to not judge others and to not blame? Because though from even from the stories of the Quran that we have read, we knew that generally it is inherent in human being to judge. Even before anything, like when Moyan came into the baby, the first thing they don't even want to know what happened is judgment. So is it possible that human beings should not judge, and is it possible that we don't blame? Because it's that's what my question, Sha.
Yeah, Thank you for that beautiful question. You see, Allah said in the Quran, the wala tuzaku anfusakum. Uh, don't evaluate yourself. Don't, because only Allah knows who is pious among us. That's number one. And number two is, as human nature, Allah created us with imperfection and He created us mean agile. We are always in a haste. We want to find answers to everything. So if there are situations that we want to find answers to, it makes us assume. We assume a lot and we try to judge people. We even judge our own character, right? So if you can stay away from it, it saves you your peace of mind and you don't have to worry. So if you don't have to, I think just very recently, I was, I would use the word judge myself because out of assumption, I was judging someone based on what I've seen on the outside, right? And it might happen that this person is not what I view them to be, right? So that is where we get it wrong as human. We see the output that we see, we judge based on that, but we don't know what is on the inside of people. And because only Allah knows, we return it to Allah and we leave the affairs to them. We, on our own side, our responsibility is just to do what is right and just leave everything else to Allah. And that is why Allah said we shouldn't judge ourselves. Only Allah knows the one who is perfect and best. Because sometimes the people that we look down onto, they might be better than us, right? There might be some things that they are doing on the inside between them and Allah that we don't know about. So we try not to judge people, even though they are not believers, even though they are non-Muslims. We stay away from judging them, so we don't hate them. Because when we start judging people, we start having envy, hatred for them, because you are judging based on what you are thinking and what you are assuming. But if you stay away from this, we have this peace of mind, and you can able to manage your emotions as such. So I hope that answers your question, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi.
Alaikum salam to that.
Sir, I would like to ask that, could you please recommend a book on this self-confidence of a thing? And moreover, please, what tactics can you give one who does not find reading books interesting? The person likes seeking knowledge, fine, but you just don't enjoy reading, and I don't know, something like that. Can you please give a talk on something related to that, sir?
I think I like to read too, but not too much. It was getting too much. I run away. So we might. So it's okay. We can read. I think videos are helpful. I think for me, I prefer videos to reading too. Sometimes there are very good videos on YouTube. If you can look up. Maybe after this, I can look for some and send to Mr. Sharif or Sister Basira. So I would say to do that and listen to motivational speeches if you can attend conferences and even things that you listen to, those sounds, they stay with you more than what you read in the lines of book. A book I would recommend is How to Talk to Anyone, Anytime, Anywhere by Larry King. One of the world most famous speaker. So how to talk to anyone, anytime, anywhere is very good. It tells you how to exchange authority when you are speaking. For example, if I am the speaker now and you are the audience and you want to ask questions and maybe you are afraid, you interchange the role. You make yourself the speaker and you make me the audience, right? So you have the authority as a speaker to speak much confident than you will on a norm if you are just the audience. Another example, you are speaking to a president or you're having an interview with them. You substitute the role of the person being the president as you being the president and the person becoming the interviewer, right? You see, so that gives you much confidence and you're able to take your place. Lastly, we have different paces that we go. Some people speak very slowly. It's fine. Understand your pace, understand what works for you. There is something called style of communication. Understand your style of speaking. Some people speak with jokes, some people speak by smiling, some people speak by telling stories. So understand what works for you If you are someone who watch your words before you speak, it's okay. Just believe in that and have confidence in that. And confidence in speaking develops momentarily, right? It doesn't come very quickly. It takes time and practice to, and look for opportunities to speak. When maybe if you're in a conference in your school, I don't know, your institution, look for an opportunity to speak, and you start developing yourself as such. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, sir. Jazakumullah khair.
You're welcome. I don't know if there's any other question. We are 9 minutes behind schedule. I'm not sure if we are good now, Mr. Sharif. If you can wrap it up.
No. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Walaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Now, Jazakumullah khairan. Please let's appreciate our speaker. Let's give him, send emojis to appreciate him for what he has done since yesterday. He has been with us, and I think he has shared his slides with us. So we are going to share that on the group by Allah's will. Then we'll continue next week. If there is no any other question, and if there is any question, you can send it to the group. We are going to forward it to him. We'll help you answer it. Then we'll send you the response by Allah's will. So let's call it a day. We have far. We've spent more than the time we've scheduled for this. So we appreciate everybody for participating. And we say Jazakumullah khairan to our facilitator. So let's call it a day. We are good to go. Jazakumullah khairan. Jazakumullah khairan, our facilitator. May Allah reward you abundantly.
Jazakumullah khairan. And Jazakumullah khairan to our consult as well for the beautiful program. Thank you.
I was not available yesterday. Just
Yes. Yes, that's why I'm treating it
I
today.
I know you all appreciate. That's why you're participating. So it's fine. It's fine. But it's just that we felt like somebody should just say one thing or the other as regards the program. So Jazakumullah khair. We appreciate everybody. May Allah reward it and accept it as an act of ibadah. Barakallahu fiik.
Sorry.
Alaikum salam wa barakatuh.